Coming up on this week's episode of the Skin Clinic Makeover, I actually have one more room. And this room, Sue had no idea I was even making over. She knew about the reception and approved the design for everything and also the design for her office, but she had no idea that I was making over her powder room that her clients use, nor that I'd be painting it black. Stay tuned to find out if she likes it. Are you ready? Let's go. Alright, so here is what the powder room looked like before. So you can see it has this little entrance way with a mirror, and then as you step into the powder room you can see the floor is very stained. There isn't any room to put the cleaning products and it's just looking a little bit drab. So let's see if we can make this a little bit more interesting. Just before we get started though, if you have never seen my channel, hi, I'm Nicole Herrick DIY and I do a lot of room makeovers. I also teach basic DIY things like fixing, repairing and making things. It's lots of different creative things, making over furniture through to things like sewing and art. So if that's your jam, subscribe for free and do consider dropping a comment below to say hi. And a like is really good too. All right. These walls are super grimy just from hand soap and moisture. So I have some sugar soap. This is what you should wash walls with before painting or applying wallpaper. So I'm going to do this. I've got one of these silicone scrubbers and it has the squeegee on it, so I'll be able to sort of swipe everything off the wall so that none of that sugar soap stays on there. So I just wipe on the sugar soap, then I give it a scrub with the silicone side and then I squeegee it off, and then I also use a clean microfiber cloth to get off the rest of the residue. Next, I filled some holes where I had taken off some existing fittings because I'm going to replace them with nicer ones, and I also needed to replace the lock. I was wondering why there was no other side of this latch. It's because this was a sliding door, so the latch wouldn't help. Take this out and we'll get a different latch. I used a fiberglass mesh tape over this hole so that the joint compound had something to stick to, and then once dry, sanded all those spots smooth and wiped down. Okay, so I originally was going to put wallpaper in this bathroom, but I decided last minute that I actually really hated this wallpaper and I just went with this black paint. So here I am trying to match it up, but turns out it didn't matter because there was none happening. I used Taubman's Endure. I always use this now for any walls because it's got so much more pigment than any of the other sort of regular price paints. So you only need maximum 2 coats, even with a dark color. So it might be a little bit more expensive, but you actually save time and you use less paint. So let's say it works out cheaper. Also, I don't think there's anything more satisfying than painting an entire room black. This was awesome. All right, let's talk about vinyl tiles. I got these for $60 from Facebook Marketplace, leftover from a job. I thought that having very large tiles would make things a lot easier. I was wrong. This was my least favorite part of this entire thing, just because it involved a lot of maths and I mean, not that I'm bad at math, I'm actually quite good, but I don't know, it just involved a lot of brain power. Now all you need to do to cut these is to score along the front of the vinyl tile and then snap and then just cut through the back of it. Super easy. But when it comes to going around toilets and door frames, that's where it gets a bit harder. So here is my tip. Use a scrap of paper and then you are going to slice upwards along the curve and doing a mark as you go little bit by little bit. I know that was too fast, so here it is slow. Draw a little mark about 1 centimeter long, pushing it inwards along the base of the toilet, and then use your knife and slit upwards. Okay, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. Go all the way around. Then you take that template off, take it to where you're going to cut your tile. And then with cutting curves, you want to go a little bit more than a score. So you kind of want to go almost all the way through with curves, especially when it's kind of right on the edge like this. And then all you need to do is just bend it in sections and it will come apart. I promise you, once you put your first piece in after doing that template, you will find it very satisfying. And then you'll realize that there's probably like 20 more things that you have to do fancy cuts on. Anyway, for a flange, you just cut a little bit of your circle to get the rough diameter, and then use a paint tin and draw a proper circle. For any bits like door frames that have lots of jaggedy bits, I found that using gloves and a pair of flat nose pliers was the easiest way to sort of like pull these little bits out. All right, now let's tackle the world's ugliest sink. So I got this for $50 on Marketplace, slightly damaged, but because this room is dark, you're not going to see it. So we need to turn the water off at the mains. Quite often in a shop that is at the front, and also quite often in houses, it's out the front. And then we need to go and bleed the pipes. Okay, so now we're going to let this run until the water stops. Here we go. So down below this sink, there's actually some extension laundry taps. So I actually need to bleed those as well. So I'm just turning those on and draining any water that's in there into a bucket, and then I can turn those back off again. When you're bleeding pipes, quite often it won't ever actually like completely stop dripping. You'll just have sort of a slow drip. That's completely normal. Don't worry about that. All right, so we need to figure out how to get this off the wall. So if I reach up here, I can feel that there is some hexagonal bolts back here. So I've got my adjustable wrench. I'm going to reach up in there, see if I can get that off. And there's also another one just here that I can see. And I'll also need to detach this. Now I'm going to wear my gloves for this one, just so I don't scrape and scratch them everywhere. And also so they don't get absolutely disgusting, because this is disgusting. Okay, so definitely a wrench is just not going to work in this situation, but luckily my client's husband, I think, might be a mechanic, and he had some tools, a few socket wrench sets in the storeroom there, and I found one that fits, so this will be way easier. Is it just me, or does anyone else find it really satisfying, that click, click, click of a ratcheting socket wrench? I love it. Okay, so I've undone everything below. Now I need to unscrew this plug hole basically. And to do that, I'm just using a pair of pliers and just screwing that way. Okay, let's see if this will actually come off now. This is the sound I make when I do something for the very first time. So what I want to do is just check that there's definitely a noggin behind here. So, yep. And I can feel that it goes to about here. This starts to feel hollow, so let's just check all the way along. Yep. Starts to get hollow about there. Right, there is hollow. What I also need to do is go and grab a new P-trap from the hardware store because the vanity didn't come with one, and I need to work out how to connect it all to the old pipes and what to cut off. And then to make it even more tricky, the old taps were these laundry tap / regular tap adapter thingies. So the inlets were also a different size to the standard. So I ended up having to change these whole taps out and put in some new ones. So that was a valuable skill to learn. And also busting a pipe and learning how to fix it is also a valuable skill to learn. But we won't talk about that because that was a little bit of a nightmare. A few trips to the plumbing department later. Okay, so I've got those old laundry taps taken off, put some new ones on just so that we can hopefully still use the drawers. I've got my new piping on here. It's not installed yet, so just want to make sure it's all going to fit. All right, let's bring in this basin and just double check that everything fits before I glue all this together. Okay, so I found something to lift these up onto the dolly at roughly the right height that I think I want it. So let's see. Does that work? Okay. Alright, so that goes in nicely. I need to cut a little notch over here for that pipe to sit through. And then I also had to adjust the back of the drawers a little bit to fit around the pipe. So you can see this is what the back of the drawers looks like. They're little slats and you can actually adjust them and you can cut the base and just make it work around your piping. So what I'll do now is just mark where I need to cut this out. So these are the brackets it came with. And so these brackets go here, okay? And then this clamps onto the front of here. You can see there's some little lines here. Sorry, it goes around this way. There's some little lines here which help grip this on. This has little teeth on the back. And then that just grips on, and that's how we mount it. Okay, it is time to join the pipes and finish off this vanity of death. So apparently we need some priming fluid and some PVC cement for non-pressurized pipes because these are just the waste pipes. Let's pretend to be a plumber today. Okay, I don't know if the look on my face in this grainy snapshot is enough to show you how emotionally and physically exhausted I was at this stage, but I didn't film myself joining the pipes or mounting the actual vanity. I'm sorry, I was just so over it. I was wet from lots of spraying pipes and stuff. But anyway, I will link some videos down below that are much more helpful than I could have been at this point in time. Also, yes, that is art on the walls in the background. Let's go back in time and I will show you that part. So going black basically makes the walls invisible, and now I can actually reintroduce some new points of interest that will make the room really different and interesting. And nothing is better than art to bring life back to a space. And Etsy has some amazingly priced digital art that you can download and get printed locally. For frames, I hit up the local thrift stores and grabbed these for about 20 bucks. So I needed to figure out which of my frames I was going to put all of the artwork in, and then also where they were going to sit on the wall. So I just did that by laying everything out, and then I got these printed just at my local Officeworks. To make them look cohesive, I'm just going to use a little bit of rub and buff on all of these frames, or most of them anyway, just to have little tinges of gold. So some of them I'm doing in a full gold, others I'm just adding a slight few wispy bits of gold. I started by putting up my central picture and then worked my way outwards, just eyeballing everything. And I just used cheap picture hanging hooks. Next up, I'm going to add some gold hardware fixing. So I actually grabbed this set for $20 that included a toilet roll holder, a towel holder, and then 2 coat hooks as well. It also incorporates the same gold that we've used in the other 2 rooms and adds a little bit of warmth and bling that my girl Sue likes. Oh, and I also found these little plant stands for about $5 for a pack of 2, I think. Another bargain. I'm the bargain queen of the world. Yes, that's right. You can subscribe for free for more quality content like this. Right, let's get into showing Sue, my client. This next room, I've got to warn you, it's a little bit different. Okay. Than the first 2 rooms. Okay. Yep, she's scared now. Okay, let's go. All right, now.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Okay, just close your eyes while I open the door and get in there. Okay, you can open.
Wow.
Okay, wait, just a minute. Now, I've just played uplifting music, but at this point, I'm starting to realize I don't know if Sue actually likes this room or if she absolutely hates it and those tears are real.
I don't know what to say. This one is like.
What do you think of the black? And even the ceiling is black.
Did you do yourself everything?
Everything!
Wow.
But yeah, I went polar opposite and completely black.
Oh my god.
Maybe she doesn't like this one. I don't know. There's less words coming out.
Cool.
It was a risky one going black, but
I don't know what to say. Thank you, Reno.
it disguises all of the
Wow.
walls and everything.
And before I just talk to you, like I wanna do something, but it's very hard to find good salon, and they didn't really give me a design or guide me. They just like they let me choose because they don't want to take their own risk.
Yeah.
But you are exactly what I'm looking for, and you're helping me, and you know what I like it. No, even though you like it, you even upgrading what I like it for me on top of it. I think so, yeah. Wow.
Okay.
All right, I want everyone to press pause, head down into the comments and tell me, do you think that Sue was absolutely mortified and she was just trying to be polite? Or do you think she actually loved it, but she just had no idea how to say it? And then come back and I will reveal what she actually thought.